Why Utah's SESD power company is going to raise rates in 2025 by 40 to 80%. So this is part one of a 3 series. So there's some new things that have taken place that have changed. Probably what I ought to do is show you what happened in the past. So then after you see that, you can see what's going to play out in the future as far as SESD. So if we come back here, in 2022, we had a coal-fired plant in New Mexico. This was an asset that generated electricity for SESD. It was probably one of the cheapest producers of power that we actually had. Therefore, it could kind of keep our rates a bit lower. But then as soon as that coal-fired plant was actually shut down, then you can see what happened. So this is a side-by-side snapshot. So you can see here's a 2021 bill, and you can see about 3,000 units of power cost $319. So then once the coal-fired plant got shut down, so now let's fast forward to 2023. And right here, this is just over 3,000 units of power, but instead of $319, this bill shot up to $679. And really what it comes back to is just this main point right here. SESD has 4,128 customers. And when this coal-fired plant came offline, what it did is 50%, like right here, right now during the summer, SESD only has enough power to provide power to 2,000 of these homes, the equivalent of 2,000 homes, which means 50% of all the power that's being purchased right here, right now by SESD is coming off the open market. So that's what that catalyst right there of losing the coal-fired plant, then taking a chunk of our base and then shoving us into the open market so that we had to source this power is really what caused. So if you were in Woodland Hills, you were in Elk Ridge or West Mountain, these areas, you were on SESD, Strawberry Electric, they have all these different names, it's kind of confusing. But collectively, SESD, that's when you saw your power bill in 2023 just go through the roof. And you're like, holy cow, why did everything go up? Well, as soon as that power went up, it cost power to pump water, so you saw your water jump. Like Elk Ridge had a 60% increase in the cost of their power. Okay, so now we kind of understand or at least we understand the context of what happened. When you go into the open market, or when we're pushed into the open market, what it is it's a free-for-all. So you look in the open market, try to find it, whoever has the power, you then negotiate a deal to purchase it. But the thing is there's shortages in the open market, therefore people are bidding up or paying higher and higher prices. Now, what is going to be the next major catalyst that's going to cause us to have significant rate increases in 2025? This right here shows the example. So you can see right in here, there is this section right here in the middle. This is on Rocky Mountain Power. So Rocky Mountain Power services this small section that is actually within SESD's service area. Well, what recently happened is there's this egg farm. It's called Shepherd's Egg Farm, and it sits right up here on side the SESD area. And SESD said, hey, that actually belongs to us. We should be providing power to that particular egg farm. And over here, this Kilgore hot plant, we should be providing power to that plant. Well, if you put it into perspective, these guys on Rocky Mountain Power, they have what they call a commercial rate, in which they were selling electricity to this egg farm at like 3 cents a unit. Pretty good deal. 3 cents a unit's probably out the door after all the fees and adders is probably about 5 cents. To put it into perspective, if we come back over here and let's look at this. Historically, here's the cost of power. It's just kind of gone up and up and up. Well, what happened is when that rate increase, that bill that I showed you, our power shot up all the way up to 22 cents a unit. Now, collectively on average, it's simmered down. My guess is we're dancing closer to 18.5 cents a unit. Now that we see this graph and we see how the price of power went way up, now you've got to understand, looking at this graph, is what happened here on this egg farm, or on this chicken farm, is they said, hey, or SESD says, hey, that thing belongs on our grid, Rocky Mountain Power, you need to hand that customer over. And to them, to the egg farm, they're like, hey, we've been historically paying 3 cents a unit for electricity. Why would we want to go to your side of the fence and pay 18.5 cents a unit? We use the equivalent of 1,000 homes of power, which is, for them on Rocky Mountain Power, it's about $50,000 a month they're paying. And if they came over to SESD, that wouldn't be $50,000 a month, that'd be about $200,000 a month of power. Just absolutely insane. And so what SESD said is, hey, tell you what, we're not going to give you the same rate as 3 cents a unit, but we're going to give you your power at 5 cents a unit. Now, you got to pause. You've got to understand, what did that actually mean? If you come back here, so you can see we're paying 18.5 cents a unit on average out the door. And when they offered them 5 cents a unit, which is probably going to make them come out the door about, say, 6-7 cents a unit, what happened is the cheapest power power that the customers in Woodland Hills, Elk Ridge, and West Mountain have been enjoying, which then have been able to bring the overall cost of power down. Now, you saw huge rate increases, but those rate increases would have been substantially more if we did not have cheap resources or cheaper resources that could generate more affordable power. In this trade, what has just been offered up is the entire block of all of the cheap power that we had. And as you can see, SESD has 4,000 customers, and 50% of that is coming from the open market, which means they have enough power to service 2,000 of these customers. And then you look down here, and the egg farm is the equivalent of 1,000 customers. And you come over here and you look at the Kilgore hot plant, which is the equivalent of about another 1,500 customers. What it did is they just set all of the cheap power that has been able to bring our overall costs down. We have just decided to give all of your power away to provide, so to speak, commercial rates to these two organizations, which means 100% of your power will now be coming from the open market if you are in Woodland Hills, Elk Ridge, West Mountain. The last time we saw this, the very first bill we saw was a 96% rate increase. So what do I think is going to happen in 2025? I think you're going to see, I put 40 to 80% rate increase. It could easily be towards the top end of that, but there's no way that we can give away the cheapest, we can allocate the cheapest portion of our power and think that it has going to have no bearing or whatsoever or impact on our rates. Now you might be thinking, well, is this actually taking place, or is the egg farm or the chicken plant going to come online and be serviced by a SESD? Well, yes, in fact, the telephone poles have already been placed. They're running it all the way out to the mountain so that they can come up here and collect the Kilgore hot plant. It's not if, the cake is baked. It's already done. The deal's done. What they haven't done is flip the switch, because as soon as they flip the switch, you will be extremely aware of it. That is part one, a 3 series that I've got kind of played out here, because there's another one that is considerable that you're just not aware of what's going on. It's kind of on the hush hush, and I'll disclose that in the next video. So this is Mike, Ask Solar Mike. I will talk to you later.